Hi ladies. Okay, so this is the 5th in our series of Fill Your Freezer Fridays. So I'm going to start first with thanking you all who prayed for my uncle. He is supposed to be going home from the hospital today, so that's exciting. And second, you ever have one of those days where your energy's low, motivation's low? That is me today. And that's because I'm running a little bit late. I had to get to the store to buy a few more ingredients for this. Anyway, so we're doing chicken fajitas. And again, if you remember the video, to me a fajita is truly hot, sizzly kind of a thing, and this is in the crock pot, so it's not that exactly. But because, you know, it's got peppers and the onions and everything in it, I just call it fajitas. Super simple, especially if you don't make your own taco seasoning, which I do. So I will be shaking all of those seasonings in. And each bag, okay, so if you're keeping track, I think this is the third one I printed. So I've got on here all the ones that I've made and then today's. And so then I have the 4 check marks, and we've ate the beef and broccoli and the chipotle chicken. So I marked those off, so now I have 3 of those left. And this week I'll probably pull 1 or 2, probably the Asian pork tenderloin out, and maybe 1 more, I don't know yet. Okay, I keep getting them wet, so I have to keep printing them. Okay, so each bag gets a can of Rotel. Rotel, I'm guessing it's not as popular up north, I don't know, but it's just tomatoes and green chilies. Okay, so I want to talk about cooking times. When I went to my store yesterday, they did not have, I went, not my store, but you know what I mean. The store that I've been going to get my 4 for $20. Their chicken breasts that were in that bin just did not look good to me. And they're supposed to have chicken breasts on sale for $1.77 a pound, but I could not find them. So these are tenderloins. I think that's the right word. That's probably loud, sorry. So my cook time on these, I have low 4 to 5. I'm thinking 5 is probably going to be way too long. So it's probably going to be a lot less than that, especially if we end up cooking it on high. It's probably going to be done in 2 hours. And I spent so much time prepping this yesterday. Ideally, you would not do 2 peppers and onions recipes at the same time, just because it did take a little of my time yesterday to, I sure hope I did this right, prep the peppers and onions. Okay, so my big giant bowl of peppers and onions, but it is kind of convenient because now, what am I going to scoop that with? I have no idea what I'm going to scoop this with because this thing's not going to work, I don't think. Oh my goodness. Okay, and they look kind of gross, honestly. They look odd, but anyway, I like mine cooked. That's why I typically do not order fajitas at any of the Mexican restaurants we go to, because I just do not want to firm, especially bell pepper. I'm okay with the onions, but the bell peppers, they've got to be cooked. I had something out for this and I moved it, and no one's around to help me right now, so it seems to be working okay. I might use my hands for the beef. Yeah, this will take forever and y'all have lives. But I thank you everyone who did pray for my uncle. I'm so happy he's getting to go home. I don't live that close to him. It's a little bit of a drive, so my aunt's just been keeping me updated and sharing pictures, and he's looked so much better. Okay, I think that'll be good. Okay, so in my DIY taco seasoning, I do Mexican oregano. It is different than like the regular oregano. In my original taco seasoning recipe that I put on my blog, I don't think it has Mexican oregano. Hopefully I went back and edited it. I don't know. That is a word, but I don't think I know how to say it. cumin. Chili powder. I just watched this one. I'm hoping it's not too hot. I had my son take the lid off of that. I think he thought I wanted him to put it back on. And I didn't. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry. It's not going to come out fast enough. Please, I do not need to be... Okay, I'm just going to do it this way. Okay, on the beef pepper steak, they had no stew meat when I went to my store. They did not have the meat I wanted. So they had a chuck steak and chuck roast, which I don't know what the difference is, on sale. So I bought 2 packs because they were like family packs. So I bought 2 packs, and then I stood actually, I guess, and cut them up, and you'll see in a minute. And on the recipe, the fan is very helpful, but at the same time, it's not the best when it's blowing spices on you. Do not add the xanthan gum until you're ready to eat. So like last minute is when you would add the xanthan gum. You don't have to add it. All it does is it just makes it thicken up. All right, almost done with the fajitas. I'm probably making the craziest faces, I'm sorry. I do not have the salt, so I'll just have to salt these the day of. And then, so I'm going to show you one time how I do this. This is how whenever well, you can't see me. I would make the worst cooking show host ever. Okay, so I try to get all the air out, and I keep squishing and squishing and squishing. I just have a little spot open, and I just squish, and then you can do this. This is optional, obviously. Everything pretty much is optional, except for eating. We have to eat. I feel like there still might be a little bit more air in there, so I'm just gonna have a tiny corner open and just squish, and then all that liquid's coming up, and then right there. And so now it's got like no air, or very, 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 very little air in here. And I'm just gonna move these guys away. Okay. We in Texas, where I live, and probably almost all of Texas, our forecast is just something about hundreds, lots and lots and lots of hundreds. And I'm trying not to complain. I've lived here pretty much my whole life, but I'm just tired of walking outside, and it's just so hot. But at least the humidity has been somewhat low, so I'll take that. Okay, so I guess I'll show you on the last one. One of these, the green part comes out way too easily, and I'm scared I'm going to drop the meat. Okay. So all I did for me is I tried to make them the same size, but that was not, yes, I love the green things, the baggie holders, I don't know, and hi Kristen. So when I did the meat, it seemed like they weren't the exact same pieces of meat. Like this is like really shiny, and the other one seems to be more, I don't know, they just seem a little different. I'm not a meat expert, so I don't know. So your cooking time will depend on the size of meat you have, maybe even the type of meat. So Since I did all the cutting myself, I tried to make them uniform. My hands were giving out by the time I was done cutting the onions, peppers, and this beef. So I put on my back. I am from Texas, but my goodness, what was that? Dump in crockpot, cook on low 5 to 6 hours or high 3 to 4. That really is going to depend on the size of your meat. The recipe, just like the beef and broccoli, is technically written as a pressure cooker recipe, but it's just the same thing. You're just going to cook it slow and long. But again, you can cook these in your pressure cooker. I would just follow the instructions, and then I'm sure you could bake this. I'll probably bake it. I don't know. Especially depending on the kind of meat you get. Like, I think this kind of meat needs a like the pressure, or it needs a longer cooking process. But if you get like the real kind of meat that you would usually cook in this recipe, it'd be a great stir fry. Okay. So I wrote everything down. I'm gonna get a spoon. I had this one out, but I was like, this looks so bad to use this on camera, but I don't want to waste y'all's time, so. And I think it's hilarious that I used bits and pieces from the peppers and onions last night for the Cajun pasta thing I came up with. And then I've got, and I'm not even a huge pepper fan at all. I like, so anybody ever been in an accident and you just get nervous to drive? Last week we went with my daughter to look at wedding dresses, and my husband drove us. I just made a mess because I was just too nervous to drive in the city, especially in that little car that we have, because before we had my Armada, which is kind of a beast. I gave her the name Big Bertha. She was designed to protect you in an accident and everything. And so, like, when I ran to town, our town is growing, I think every place is, and people run the red lights out here. I've had people pull out in front of me, and I just get so nervous now. And before, I wasn't that nervous, but now I'm really nervous when I'm driving. Okay, 2 tablespoons of Bragg's or soy sauce or whatever alternative. And this does not have salt in it either. You would want to taste and adjust before you serve it or eat it. I think I'm going to run out. Okay, I ran out. I'm going to have to make a note of that. Just remember soy sauce. So, last 2 bags. Okay, sorry. All right, and then the brown swerve again. Use what you have, what you like, what your family will eat. I do love brown swerve. It is my favorite. I have a few recipes that use it, and I feel like it just does such an amazing job of me not getting that that cooling effect, which my husband absolutely hates. He cannot stand that feeling. So, all right. Should have just dumped it in my container. Each of these gets 2 tablespoons. Almost just jumped ahead. Okay. I feel like I need to have like notes so I can have like a topic to talk about instead of y'all just watching me measure stuff. Okay. So the brown swerve, and it's so expensive. So last week when I did, and I used like the whole bag in those 4 recipes, that was just so much money. Okay. It calls for, I think, a half a tablespoon of garlic. I'm probably gonna do a whole tablespoon. You live in a city too, don't you, Kristen? My husband one day, right after the accident, he hates flies, and there was like one in the car, and it got on his leg, and he stomped his foot down real hard to get the fly off. I dropped everything, thought we were having an accident, and started crying. I have been a hot mess since the accident. Cheating again, I'm using ginger paste. This is one of the things I went to the grocery store for because my Super 1 did not have any, and I was not in the mood to peel and chop and all that with the ginger. I'm gonna have to just, I'm so glad somebody appreciates it. I'm just gonna have to buckle up, which is kind of an ironic word, and just do it. I know I'm not driving in the city anytime soon, especially in his car. So we have an Armada, or we had, it's totaled, had an Armada, and then we have his little car, which is a Ford Focus. I am thankful for the car. I'm not complaining about the car. The car has air conditioning. Great. It's just so little. And especially when I'm by myself, I'm just so nervous. Okay, so bell peppers and onions. Every time I do one of these Asian recipes, I just want to eat it. It just, the smell, oh, it smells so good. Okay, peppers and onions. Okay, broth, ginger, garlic, rags, and swerve. Okay, and remember, no xanthan gum if you're going to use it until right before you serve. My tip on that is if you use anything like that, or glucki. I can't use glucki. If you're new here, it just does something to my stomach. It is such a good thing for you. So I have to use xanthan gum, but they're pretty much interchangeable. I also think that glucki gives more of a slimy taste, but that's my preference. I take a tiny amount and just kind of sprinkle it on the top, and then get a whisk and whisk it in. So I made one of my recipes I showed you this week. I took lemon pepper wing sauce, dumped it in the crock pot with some chicken, that doesn't matter, just some sort of chicken, and let it cook, added some seasonings, and then took the chicken out, added a half a block of cream cheese, whisked that in, and then I added the xanthan gum. And I just whisk, and I just do like an 1/8 of a teaspoon max to start, because it will thicken up. It just might take a minute. Okay, a lot of low animals. Okay, so Kristen, I've never technically measured. I measure for my blog so y'all can have numbers, but if you can see, I just kind of eyeball it. But I would guesstimate max 1/8 of a teaspoon to start, and you have to whisk it. I don't know, I just find that makes it like activate or something. I'm not an expert. And then after like a minute or so, if it still seems it's like it hasn't thickened up enough, then we'll add a tiny bit more. And one way you can do this is save a container like this that has holes in it. I mean a spice container, and just kind of shake it like that and just have it a little bit come out, because you can go from, and it's kind of like with salt or something like that, you can go from almost to too much pretty quick. So xanthan gum, and I don't think it's a special ingredient because I can get mine at my Walmart, and it has lasted me for over a year. I have not looked at the expiration date. I'm not going to. I have had the same bag for a long time because you only need a tiny amount. Okay, broth. What I'm going to do, oh, I think we already did the garlic. Okay, so this is my cheat for broth. I typically like to have, okay. I'm going to have to, and we're talking about maybe getting a truck. And my Armadas are big. I loved my car. Like, I stood on the side of the road as they cleaned up the transmission fluid and everything, like, not crying, but crying a little bit, because I hate picking out cars and all of that. We're talking about maybe getting a truck. I'm so terrified to drive a truck. That probably sounds stupid, but like there's extra in. There's like a whole extra back there that keeps coming. And okay, so I'm trying to do this on a budget. My husband, I haven't been to the grocery store this last weekend. We were so busy, and I was like, I gotta get to the store. And then he said, what about all those freezer meals you're making? So I think we'll start eating a little bit here and there. I wanted to save them, but I can't keep buying all the week's food and then 8 meals other. I cannot speak 8. You know what I'm trying to say? Goodness. So I'll be showing y'all how they work out. So like I said, I'll do the Asian pork tenderloin, with the Asian slaw this week, and probably one more that I'm going to try a recipe that it looks like it's a super simple dump and go recipe that will be perfect for this, but it's just like chicken and some seasonings, spices, and then like green verde sauce. That's it. And then you can make tacos or enchiladas or whatever you want with it. Okay, back to the broth. What I was going to say is I like to do bone broth, but this is budget, so I'm just using this. And again, I'm not doing anything perfect here at all. And then serving this, you can serve this so many different ways. Like I said, my cauliflower rice, I know it says it's cauliflower rice. Nobody likes cauliflower. Well, some people do. I'm not a huge fan. I would force myself to eat it because I know it's good. I'm going to try and measure this and not make a mess. But by adding liquid or broth, whatever you want to add, it just really transforms the flavor and the texture, and my husband will actually eat it and likes it. So I'm telling you, my husband is super picky, and when he will eat something that's more on the healthy side, it's a win. Okay, that is it. If you don't talk, you can make these in a matter of minutes, but prep work is key. If I suggest, do not shop and do the work on the same day unless you have endless energy, and I obviously do not. And if I would have done all the work that I did yesterday, today, and then did the filming, I would be exhausted. It really did take a lot out of me. I had a very, very, very busy day, and then finished the evening doing all of this and still cooking for my family. So ideally, prep, either break it up, because again, this is supposed to be super easy, and if you get the stew meat or even pre-cut meat, that's going to save you. Also, if you remember the peppers and onions, I totally forgot when we went to Super One. I totally forgot that I was going to check the freezer section for the peppers and onions, because those are already frozen. What I would do is I would, just dump everything in here and dump those peppers and onions in here frozen, and then put them back in the freezer. And if you like the pepper, if peppers are your thing, which I so wish they were mine, I would not do any cooking like I did. That's where I'm picky, is on that. So hope you're having a good summer. I heard some people have already gone back to school, which is insane to me. But I'm going to keep doing this. We're going to do this all the way. What month are we? Okay, I'm going to go. You'll have lives. I did not change our calendar that's on our fridge. It's still on June. And I kept thinking that tomorrow was the 1st. And then I was thinking I have to get my menu out, and which was stressing me out and everything. And then I have no idea why I'm telling you all that. I'm going to go, it's going to be August. So I'm going to go all the way through August, and I think maybe the 1st of September. And then I thought about maybe doing like soccer pantry or something next. If you have any ideas, I'd love to hear them. Because this helps me stay on plan. It helps my budget. And I would just love to do some more things like this. And eventually our freezers are going to run out of room. Oh wow, I cannot believe it's already, I feel like we didn't go back to school this fast, but maybe it's because I'm so old. I'm 48, and so I haven't been to school in a long time. Thank you so much. I have really, really appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. I'm going to get these in the freezer and clean up, and then we're going to go hopefully have Mexican for dinner. Thanks for watching, y'all.